preach. I just do what comes natural. 5-star, everything I see. Live large, no apology. Take charge, no one can compete. I just do what comes natural.
We're back, y'all.
Don't miss your chance to laugh with Big Mama. You know I got something to say, and it's gonna make you laugh and think. 'Cause see, life, it's like gumbo, messy, spicy. But baby, if you stir it right, whoo, it's good for the soul.
Big Mama stay dropping gem, but this season, we're turning the whole court upside down.
We've got guests, games, real talk, sports mom style.
Season 4, it's live, it's us, and baby, we just getting started.
Season 4, oh, it's bold, it's real, and trust me, we're taking it there.
Season 4, it's live, it's us, and
we got something to say.
Well, hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk Sports? Yes, we can. I am Karen. I consider myself as a community person. I support and enjoy my community here in DeSoto. I'm also a coach for Stage 1 in Action. It is a nonprofit organization that helps youth entrepreneurs build their business, coaches them in whatever space they need help in. And I got my other host here.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is Big Mama. You know, I am coming to tell you what's really going on. I'm going to correct you and comfort you at the same time. But Big Mama plays no games.
Oh, wow. All right, Big Mama.
Right.
Okay, Big Mama. This show tonight, this show tonight is for me because I am one of those persons that still has a student loan. Raise your hand. Yes, I still got student loan. Wait, you froze.
I was not, I froze. I was like, wait. At this great age.
Well, okay. When I was in college,
so,
see what happened is.
Yes, explain this to me.
See what happened is.
We're both the same college age. And stuff.
Right. And so when I went off to school, I got that Pell Grant. Oh, I got a Pell Grant. Oh, I got money. Oh my goodness, that Pell Grant. Then I moved off campus. Then they gave me the money back. Oh my goodness. And then, I can borrow some more money. Oh, let me borrow some more money. Oh, let me buy a car. Oh, I bought a Pontiac Grand Am. Oh my goodness. That is how
I remember it.
Do you remember? And so I probably borrowed over my 2.5 years in college, probably $10,000. Tell me why I owe probably like $70,000 now.
40 years later.
40 years later. Now I probably paid a little bit on it, throughout the time. And then when I got ready to buy a house, oh my God, my student loan is on my credit report. So it's something that never goes away. Never goes away. And then by me being in the tax business, I have seen so many people who they were like, okay, my student loan is default. Let me go and get a forbearance so they could get their income tax money. But when I tried to do it, they did it. They did it without any hesitations. But the interest rate that they gave me on that forbearance, it was probably more than that income tax would have been. But I've seen people go and do that in order to get their income tax money. They go and do a forbearance. And I said one time I went on live, I said, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap because if you knew how much interest they are charging you just to waive from you making those payments so you can get that $4,000 or $5,000 income tax and go be able to buy your kids some clothes and do some things you ain't been able to do in a long time. I understand it. I've been there. I get it.
Right.
But the interest rate that you're paying for that forbearance is being compound, and it's just growing and growing and growing. And so now here we are. Of course, when my kids went to school, got parent loans. And so that's how I am at probably $70,000 on student loans, me and my children's. And that comes from not preparing. So that's why this show is so important tonight, because we need to talk about it, parents. We need to talk about whether we take $10 a month and put it in a bank account or something when your baby is born. If you think your kids should go to college so you can have some money saved, we need to talk about it. And then with our guest tonight,
yeah, he'll be able to help us a lot. My student loan story is it is not that large, but I think the second year, so I didn't qualify for any Pell Grants initially. So when I did my first student loan, of course, wowed out. I mean, I got money. I'm 19 years old. Okay. And so then they started. So after that, I wasn't paying anything, of course. So they started sending letters to the house. And so my dad is like, "Boo, leave them people's money alone. Stop this. We're gonna fix this, and but don't you do this again." So of course I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Went to transferred from Northeast and moved to Los Angeles. So started out at Northridge, fresh credit cards. I'm in the city of angels. And so here I am just living it up. And going to Vegas, just doing all kinds of foolishness. But it came to a point that I did not pay the loan back. And I think what happened, I suffered it to be for 3 years with my income tax.
Mm. Wait, you fading out. You fading out. Come on back in, Big Mama. Your internet is tripping. Wait just a minute. There you go. Okay, you still fading out. Okay, we're gonna go to a commercial. We got another commercial for you while Big Mama work on her internet.
We talk some sports?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, switching gears. Back to school also means back to sports. And for parents and athletes, this means sacrifices, lessons learned, and memorable triumph. So a group of sports moms started the show, Can We Talk Sports?, to have honest conversations, humor, and share their journey on raising young athletes. And you bring all of your different experiences to the forefront. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the conversations that you have?
We talk about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to referees. That was our favorite topic.
Oh, yes, I bet that is.
That one was a good one. We've had some
because the parents, honestly, often they're the ones that are misbehaving the most.
They see that they're relatable stories that they was like, oh, okay, I experienced that too.
What do you think actually is some of the biggest challenges that parents of sports, of athletes, are facing?
Balance. Set some boundaries and enjoy the journey.
So to have that community is so important. Now, Sonia, people know you as Big Mama. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, we're back. Big Mama must have had a little bit of internet situation, but I'm sure she'll be back. So we're going to go ahead and bring the guests on the show. We have Mr. Nathan Dailey. He is a business owner of Preparedness Planning, LLC, based in the DMV. He works to support Black economics agenda nationwide with projects that range from youth development to emergency products and supplies. So, there's Big Mama. Let's bring her back. And so, Big Mama, we're gonna bring Mr. Nathan Dailey on, and then we're gonna do your segment. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Dailey.
Welcome, Mr. Dailey.
We're glad to have you. We're so glad to have you. One thing that I enjoy that not only us on this internet, I've seen on TV, they have problems with internet. So we had a little problem, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and let Big Mama do her part before Mr. Dailey come in. So Big Mama, here we go.
Hey, let me tell you.
Well, Big Mama got some tea tonight. Tyreek Hill and Keita Vaccaro. Now, everybody knows Big Mama know that I love. But at some point, common sense got to kick in for us. Baby, love can only go so far. Tina Turner said it best. What's love got to do with it? So Tyreek Hill and unfortunately Keita Vaccaro, they got married, and they hadn't been married less than 2 years. And so now they have this big public divorce. Now, to my understanding, maybe 3 months after they got married, he went and filed and said, you know what, this is not what I want to do. Obviously, there was a little pillow talk, and the boy came back and said, hey, I'm happy. I want to be with Keita. And there when it started. So I'm not sure what happened, but they came out for some domestic violence at the house and said Tyreek was throwing some things around. Hopefully it was not Keita, because we do not advocate for any domestic violence disturbances at all. But he was throwing things, computers and things, and then he grabbed the baby. They say, that's what that is. And so but whatever happened, she didn't press any charges. But the police are like, we're looking at a bruise on your chest. And she said, oh, well, maybe it happened when he pulled the baby away. I have 2 children. I don't know how physically hard you got to pull a baby away that you have left an imprint. But nevertheless, Keita has literally hit the lottery. I mean, literally. So, girl, you get $500,000, $500,000 as a lump sum payment in this divorce. You get from $20,000 to $50,000 a month. $100,000 to go look for a new car. They said, oh no, you can't have his Bentley, but we'll give you $100,000 to go find your car. Oh, okay. And then another $500,000 we're going to give you to fight your legal fees. So he is now having to pay all of this. Keita she is in the wind with all of this big down windfall. But Tyreek, I don't know where you are, what you're doing right now. Probably somewhere looking, just looking. I'm not going to say nothing else, but you're probably somewhere just looking. But I'm sure a lot of people have whispered in your ear. of course, hindsight is 2020. So Big Mama not gonna beat you down. I'm gonna love on you, but I don't know, bro. Keita did it. She did it, and I just want you to be careful next time. Do better next time. And them other 7 babies you got, Terry, what you call Big Mama? I just want to talk to you. Just want to put a little encouragement in your life. But you got to get some things together. You need to call somebody to get some things worked out for you. But I'm Big Mama gonna put you on the prayer list. You know I'm gonna do that for you. Keita, you my girl, cause you done came out like a bandit, baby. But y'all just be careful with your dealings. Like I said, the prenup. Oh, if I gotta sign a prenup, I'm not marrying you. Oh, okay then. Oh, okay. I could set some things aside for you, but surely you're not gonna get my $5.5 million mansion, and I got to pay all the bills there, according and the mortgage. They even making the baby pay the internet bill. I'm like, Keita, you can't pay that internet out of that $20,000 to $50,000 a month. But nevertheless, you guys with these sports, y'all be careful. And it doesn't matter what it is, what race, what nationality. You have to be a little more business savvy. You have to protect you. You have to protect your empire. You have to protect your name. And so you out here with all this foolishness, but hopefully, no, not hopefully. Oh, you gonna learn from this one. All right, that's all Big Mama got for you tonight. And y'all send one up for Tyree, because I know he's somewhere looking lost. He's really lost. But that's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Big Mama. Thank you. All right, Mr. Dailey, it is your time. You got the spotlight. Tell us who you are and what you got going on.
Thank you so much, and thank you for welcoming me to Can We Talk Sports with Big Mama and Karen. And I'm just excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It's not every day you get invited to go talk to all the mamas at one time. Hey, look, I put my smell good on. I put my cologne on, so you can smell a little bit of it. Just want to let you know. I'm watching you guys, and I'm excited, and I'm glad to be here. Just a little background on me. If you don't know, you may see me lift this Tennessee Titans mug up. Since we are on a sports show, I like to let everybody know. I know you guys were rocking with the Texans, I think, this year, but I just I have
who
to
that?
let you know. Huh? Are you a who that?
My family's Raiders.
You're a Raiders? Okay, well, I'm not even going to be upset, then y'all will get it, A little bit about me. My family's from Mississippi, though. My big mommy actually does live in Mississippi, Port Gibson, Mississippi. She's 100 years old. She's been there, and we've got that land right outside of Alcorn in Port Gibson. So my family's been there's about 70 acres of land, and it's been an amazing time. What I like about it is that it actually got me the opportunity, talking sports, to see Aaron McNair. So if you guys know, Steve Nair went to Alcorn University, and as a child, that's how I got to be a Tennessee Titan fan. He was just everything to Port Gibson, Mississippi. When he came to town, you rolled out the red carpet at the same club, night after night, every Saturday, because we only had one club in Port Gibson. That was why. There was only one club and 2 grocery stores, a Piggly Wiggly, and a regular shopping safe. So, there was nothing else but Steve McNair. So that's why he's been adopted to me, and the Tennessee Titans always have a special place in my heart.
Wonderful.
My work, though, I do a lot of critical infrastructure work. So I went to college down in New Orleans, and I got my degree in philosophy, religion, also political science. So shout out to all my Dillardites out there and all my Katrina babies that came back, that rocked and rolled and made sure the city was going. It's actually a fun time because it is. We just got done watching the the documentary for the rebirth of the Superdome. And it was, it's hard. If you have experienced that, it's not an easy watch. It really just isn't an easy watch at all. It makes you want to cry a little bit all over again. It also makes you very proud of the Saints, because I was there at that Super Bowl party, ladies and gentlemen, and I was in college, finishing up, and it was the greatest party I can ever remember of the century. And yes, all of my fraternity brothers were there, and it was an amazing experience. And because we're talking about college loans today, that's why I'm gonna keep it right there, because there's a lot of folks who are going to listen to me and say, well, Nate, what do you know? What is this? What do you do? I do a lot of consulting work. And part of my consulting work is that I go into critical infrastructure intelligence. I know that's a lot of CII, a lot of little words there, but it is essentially understanding, what is the actual internal structure that is really supporting what we see on the outside. I always like to relate things sometimes to the spiritual, and we can be living in the world but not of the world, right? So it's this concept of we want to learn, but where do we go? It's a library. Somebody's got to maintain the library. Somebody's got to maintain the people. So what I do is I study both that physical and that human infrastructure side, and we work to make sure that it maintains a resiliency model. So what does that really mean? So we were just talking about New Orleans and Dillard, and one thing you'll see is that it went underwater. It was very, during Katrina, it's a perfect time to have this conversation, Mr. Tyreek. I hope you're listening, because there's a lot of Tyreeks that are getting ready to come out there, but they may not realize that they're being married to student loans. Or they may not realize that they're getting into situations that are so long-term, you just can't go to the federal court and say, I want out. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It just don't work that way. So having this conversation about student loans as it turns to not just African Americans, but all the sports teams, because this really isn't a race thing when you come to student loans, although there is a high percentage of African Americans that have benefited in pulling ourselves up. It was not student loans that got ourselves educated. It was our mama who kicked our butts and made us come in when the street lights came on. That's how we got our education. It didn't, Uncle Sam, I need you to know that, Donald Trump, when we start talking about changing stuff, because you mess around and had a great debaters again, you mess around and find yourself at Wiley College, and things go, you mess around and find Black people teaching each other in their schools, and you mess around and find yourself some real leaders. So you got to be careful what you ask for. What is that Colin Powell said, one of his rules? You just might get it. You just might get it. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit what, not just, the experience of student loans and what has changed, but I think it's important for us to not so much as always focus on part, but focus on the solutions in terms of what our up and coming athletes are going to be signing, not just contracts for national football or professional, but really understanding the opportunity that you have to give back to those who are coming that may be an engineer or maybe creating high-speed railways, and you need to know where to put your money. Okay. And student loans it is a good investment. It's not a bad investment if you find yourself really taking some time to say, what is really being SEC regulated? How are they packaging our loans? And really, what is how can I best use this $25 million, on helping my people rather than paying for Kiki's Wi-Fi? I don't know. Did I say that right? I don't know. Did I go too far, Big Mama? You were good. Did I go too far? I may have messed it up. I'm sorry, honey. I don't mean to mess up you and your name. It's just I just feel like maybe you wanna have a financial plan before you get married, because it really will help. It really will help. And part of that is student loans. Part of that is understanding what's happening. And we all know what we've seen about the new bill that's came out. And we've all kind of got a chance to really kind of see that there's a lot of changes that are going to impact us, whether you are experiencing them now and you're just saying it just notices coming in the mail. So, hey, you're 15 days behind, you're 5 days behind, you're late. Or it is you're on your way to school and now you're realizing that, oh my God, I got to get these loans or this education now because the funding won't be there. Or you're the administrator where you've now got to set the price for tuition. And Black universities should be, I hope they're listening to this, because it's not only going to impact your enrollment and your financial aid, but it's most certainly going to impact the number of classes you can offer and the subjects you can cover. So this is a domino effect that we have to take a moment to start to say, hey, listen, we have to take this serious in our community, and we're not talking about it enough. We're being distracted by, weirdos walking around and claiming that, they see a lot of crime and it's so many distractions. And I don't want to get down that point, but I do think it's important for us to understand that there's really 3 areas that's going to be changing. Number one, the repayment plans are going to change. Okay, these repayment plans are not something you want to sit back and just wait to happen to you. Okay, it's not just about the interest of the forbearance, but it is about understanding that you got to start paying this now. You got to communicate. This is the federal government. It's a federal loan. We have an administration that means to make a point with the lives and the trying to take away the opportunities of people less fortunate. And they're going to use every means to do it. I mean, they're going to try their best to what I believe the art of negotiation would say, use it as leverage. Okay, I'm going to try to use both neutral terms here, but that leverage, according to the Black community, is an Achilles heel for us. So it is an Achilles heel. It's not just for our sports. It's not just for those who are going to get injured playing sports and have to really rely on student loans to continue their education. But it really is going to be depending on how we as parents can participate with our child's education while we're getting ready to battle, payments and high payments of our own, right? And it's going to take away our ability to co-sign for them like our parents were able to do for us. So now we have a generational situation on our hands that we have to take a moment to say, hey, listen, is Charlamagne the God having a conversation about this? Are we really sitting down? Are we, I understand we want to boycott Target, but are we discussing the one thing that will cripple our universities? Because it's no secret how we got that museum. It was through these universities of us educating ourselves and getting us to a point where we could have something to contribute to that museum, right? And so, I think that, the repayment plans that's changing, and I don't want to bore us with too many facts, but it is significant to know that, the fixed payment plan, that 10 to 25 year plan, you need to pay at least $10, right? It's going to be at least, you got to pay that $10 payment. But then if you miss 2 payments, they're not going to allow you to do it again. They're not going to allow you to do an income-driven plan again. So it's important to note that you're not in a position where they're going to leave a lot of room. This is one of those times where you need to treat your student loans like the IRS for the next 3 years until we get somebody in there who has a little bit more compassion. And it's okay to say that, because that's important. But I think that is something that we want to think about for those who have not paid, for those who have, let's say, SBA loans, especially business owners, especially folks who have their children there and you're counting on this. You want to get ahead of this. You don't want to put yourself on the back end where your taxes are going to be garnished. This is the federal government. This is bank accounts. This is other areas where they can go in, and he is looking for obscure laws to allow him to do it. And this is not that time to kind of wait around for that. Get done with that. Don't let them, don't give them a reason to come knocking on your door, right? So the repayment plans is a big part that we need to understand and be prepared to look for our income-driven repayment plans. I think if you need that assistance, is there. I think the other thing we want to talk about here is borrowing caps and limits. This is going to be more important for those who are going into their graduate program. That you're going to need to be a lawyer. You're going to need to pick up another 200. You want to go to medical school. I mean, we're not looking to go to school so we can go back to working at a grocery store. We're going so that we can add value. And whether you are playing a sport, And I'll say this, I have a lot of kids up in Chicago that I mentor, and some say, I want to be a kinestheologist, and I want to do physical therapy, and I'm going to go into sports medicine and all of this. And a lot of them have to take out student loans in order to do this. So it's important to know what those borrowing caps limits are about to be. And I'm just going to go through a few of them just quickly, because I think, if we can't talk money, Big Mama, what we talking? Okay.
That's right. If it don't
my
make
big
money,
mama
it
used to
makes
say,
sense.
she used to say, straight talk make for straight understanding. Y'all ever heard that before?
I love it.
She said, straight talk make for straight understanding. And so there are some borrowing caps that you need to know. First, for graduate students, right? It's only going to be $20,000, $20,500 a year, with a lifetime cap of $100,000. Now that's important, because how much is your master's degree going to really cost you?
Right.
If you got 2, or you're trying to get a doctorate and you've got a lifetime cap of 100, you need to know, what that looks like. For other professional students like law degree or medicine, it may change just a little bit. I think it's $50,000 per year, and then it's going to be a $200,000 lifetime cap on that as well. So, these are things that we want to start planning for now, even on the graduate level. The Parent Plus loan, that's going to be capped at $20,000 per year per dependent. So all your kids, I love going to Dillard, but Dillard was a little pricey. Okay, I mean it's an elite school. What can I say? I mean, I look around and I say, I see Xavier on one side, and I say, oh well, it looks like you guys got your grass cut, but obviously you're missing some of the spirit. I mean, I don't know. Then I go to Howard, and you say, oh, we the first campus. I'm like, yeah, but how long did it take you to get recognized? But Dillard just popped on the map. It just kind of came up. I gotta throw the shout out to the DU real quick, because we're talking about school. But there is a lifetime cap. Our parents are the ones who did it. Yeah. And it's important for our parents. And my grandma was the one who came in and helped me. In my first 2 years, she said, I'm going to take out this loan and help you. That's my grandmother. Mm-hmm. She did that for me. Yes. And so, because she cared about my education, she worked for the city of Chicago. She worked very hard to get to where she is, and to take out that, to be able to help me in that way was very special. She helped my brother go to law school, and we both couldn't go to law school. One of us had to choose. So I decided to go my route. He went his route, but in return, it's important, because there's so many mothers out there who are looking to do this, and you got to know those repayment plans and now the borrowing caps are all going to be you're signing yourself up for that, right? And we need to know what kind of impact that's going to have. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about that time frame, because that cap is about $65,000 per student for a lifetime. Now, could this change with the next administration? Absolutely. Okay, don't think that this can't be undone. Okay, and it's the time frame. That's why we're going to talk about the time frame here in a minute, because it'll give you a little time to plan and prepare. But the universal one, when you're looking at all of it for Parent Plus, they're going to cap that all together, whether it's dependent, years, doesn't matter. That means you may not be able to help your kid go to graduate school. You may be able to do it for the undergrad, but not the graduate. And that's something you want to talk about. As you're picking a major, as you're in the sports world, or, you're in a position that, now I'm going to pause here, because, I don't like to give out bad news without giving out good news. But this would be a good time for moms and parents, when they're doing a Parent Plus loan for their kids, to talk about, what type of investments can help pay back the loan. Okay. This would be a great time to have that conversation. If your child is already on scholarship, they have to take a little loan out. Why not take a bigger loan out, and then look at what type of Wall Street investments that you can just buy that's safe, has an equitable return, like a treasury bond, gives you a 4 to 6 return, but the interest can take care of the payment in the next 3 to 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. Because you put it there. And yes, you may pull out the money in a student loan, but you're putting it to a place that's going to actually give your child an opportunity in the next 5 to 10 years to pay it off without having to be, kind of be a victim of this trap they're trying to set up for a lot of students. So I'm not gonna go into any financial advising advice, but there are many financial products that you can get and start now with your student loan, so that you can start building the interest and the dividends that will directly go to your student loans. And there's many Wall Street companies that will do that. They'll do this transaction for you because guess what? If they're paying off some of your student loan debt, guess who's looking better on some of the other investments that they're buying in terms of student-backed loans. So if they have a pool of investors that are sending interest payments over to their student loans, over to a pool of investors, they're making money off of you while you're taking care of your student loans. And these are the conversations that I know that there's a lot of parents that do have money. This is what they have with their kids. And this is the kind of things they set up. And I think that, as we get into the conversation of sports, many of our kids, who may experience, a little bit of injury at some point will inevitably run into the reality that they have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And this is a time you have that conversation about there is a plan, here's an investment strategy, but here's how much it's going to cost you. And we got to do the math. And I'm hoping that, with this conversation, folks are inspired to talk to their financial advisor to say, hey, what can I use? What can I do to sort of start paying back my student loans using some instrument? Because the money just sits there, but you still get an interest payment. You can use that, and that's very helpful. The last thing I'm going to say is about dates, and then I'm going to just shut it down and I'm going to let Big Mom and Karen take it away. But some of the major dates that are coming up, one of them that's already passed is the repayment. So as of July 1, the major thing is that you need to start paying your student loans now. Call them, figure out where it is, know what it is, start working on that now. That enacted on July 2025. What will most of the other changes that are gonna come is gonna be July 1st, 2026 and July 1st, 2028. Now, that's not a big deal in terms of how you're planning now, but it is a big deal how the school is planning for you now. Okay, understand that the school may be making adjustments now because of what is going to happen next year and what they've got to get prepared for in the next 2 to 3 years. Even though that the administration has an opportunity to be shifted and this has an opportunity to be changed, unfortunately, this is congressional law. This was passed by both the House and the Senate. So executive order change is not just going to easily make this go away. This is the Obamacare for student loans that won't just so easily go away. It's not something you can just call back with a stroke of a pen, okay? This is something that's going to take a little bit more lobbying, a little bit more time. So you may have another year or two, follow me on this, until about until about 2030, where it really changes back, but it may never go back. They may already calculate enough revenue that should be generated in. Chances are it could stay this way, or a version of this could stay. Okay, so it's better to just get ahead of it now and then kind of put yourself in a position so that if you are trying to have, or you will have a kid in college, or you do have to have these repayments done, you're not going to find yourself being garnished, and you're not going to find your child having to sit back or sit out a year for real. I'm not talking about because he got bad behavior. It's really because you can't afford it. It truly is, because there's no way to actually afford it. And I'm going to leave it there because I know that's a mouthful for everybody. A lot of folks probably never got that. But I really wanted to make sure that if you are, last thing I'm going to say is if you are an athlete and you're listening to this, you're following the show, you are playing for the Dallas Mavericks, or you are a Cowboy, or you are wherever, football, national, whatever, and you're saying, I want to help with student loans. There are ways. There are ways to help folks, and it is lucrative. It is not something that won't get you paid. It is something that will get you a nice return, a safe return. As Warren Buffett would say, it is safe and adequate, okay? And those things kind of constitute what an intelligent investor is going to do. And there are opportunities to get into that market. And, we just have to see where to put it and to take advantage of that. And I think if we talk about it, then I think the conversation can get started and we can get ahead of it before it gets ahead of us.
Oh my
Well,
God.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm just like having to breathe because this is so good and so much information. So go ahead and start with your question.
It's a lot of information, but it's necessary. So how about that? It's a lot, but it is necessary. So it looks, from what I'm hearing from you, that all of these changes, especially with this repayment plan, this income-driven repayment plan, it is intentional to make it more challenging for borrowers to even be relieved of this debt. If it is intentional, what's the financial purpose of it, and where is it going?
Well, that's a good question. I think the first part is the intentionality behind it. I think this sort of stems to their ideology on being dependent on the government. Ideology of kind of saying, we don't want to fund the education of individuals who are not quote unquote contributing the way we expect them to contribute to society. So it definitely is ideological, and that is kind of influencing it. But a lot of it also is, the framework of what happened after COVID. COVID created really a vacuum in some of the returns in certain agencies, and you see it in cities, right? Chicago has huge deficits. I mean, they're not the only city that that a hole has been blown through their budget or state. And so you sort of see two things happening at once. One, student loans have got inflated. It is out of control, and you need a solution because it is hurting now even our baby boom population that is now retiring, and they still have student loans. Okay. And then we can clearly see that we need to raise capital in other areas to provide for services that, essentially, it's got to be balanced. So what I would say is that the intentionality here is you need to follow the rules and the formulas that's written. And those who follow it, they'll be saved. Those who don't, they're going to suffer the consequences. And the sort of axiom here, the principle here is, did you call? Did you even find out how to pay it? And it's trying to take advantage of us not talking about it. I find that it's a very sensitive topic when we talk about personal finances because people feel judged. But there's nothing wrong with feeling, the same as everyone else. In this case, because we all have student loans, there's very few people who you're going to meet that says, hey, I don't have to deal with a student loan. I mean, if you come here and you meet a lot of rich Black folks or white folks or Asian folks, maybe you can do it. But where I come from, from the folks that I spend time with, it is a real topic. Okay. Mm-hmm. But we're not having that conversation. So I think what it is more or less playing on our ignorance more than it is intentional. Mm. And that's what I is it intentional play on our ignorance? Absolutely. But is it as intentional as they want to make it? Not really, because we can figure it out. We can beat it. It's not like we haven't done it before. We've done it before. We'll do it again. They can't jack up the interest rate on us. They can't turn it around. We took out the loan. We'll figure it out as we always do. But I think it's the ignorance that they're trying to capitalize on, if anything.
Right. And I'll say for the sports, the student athletes, back in the day when during my schooling time, I would have these football players. They would have a full ride and they would get Pell Grant money. And yes, Karen, they did get new cars. But anyway, they would get that. But it looks as if, though, with this big, beautiful bill, if you have a full scholarship, you're not going to be even Pell Grant eligible, regardless of your parents' income.
Yeah. Well, but you got to look at that time frame on that. What's the time frame on that eligibility? factor, and I'm willing to bet it's not going to start until 2026.
Okay.
That's going to happen now, but it's still an interesting point, because then it just changes. What do I do? How do I kind of cover the gap of the funding that I am missing? And now we get back to that conversation of Parent Plus loans, don't we? Right. Now we get back to that conversation of, what are our other options? So if you get ahead of it now, you can stay ahead of it later. And I'm talking about saying, listen, if you didn't do a 529 plan when I was 5 years old, you're just not going to really have the money sitting there, right? But you can, right? But you can find yourself a good, a financial investment instrument that will yield you some type of high return, or at least safe enough so that by the time you're ready to start paying it, you will have a mechanism for paying it that's generating interest. Is that making sense? I hope that's kind of making sense. It's literally saying, hey, listen, don't spend so much time trying to pay back a loan. Put your money, if you're going to pay it back, buy yourself a nice bond, a yield, get that interest, and then let the interest pay the loan back. And that is actually what Wall Street is doing. They like that. Okay, that is a strategy. They like to do that kind of stuff. And it's just strategizing with your financial advisor, but you got to talk about it. And I would encourage people, and Karen, you would probably tell them, I'll tell you, use ChatGPT. Why not? Why not? Why not ask Jeeves? Yes.
Exactly. So these professionals, so you're suggesting that professional athletes, if you want to find another way to supplement incomes or to make yielding on your money, to help out some of these, to create some type of business, quote unquote, business of student loan processing, because it would yield them definitely some income there.
It would definitely yield them income. We call that student loan asset-backed securities, SLABs. It's probably okay. SLABs, but it's just called SLABs. Look into that. Those are Wall Street products where those loans are bundled, right? And you can directly invest in it, or you can understand how it works, and you can create the leverage and negotiating and refinancing, which is going to be key for your community. That lenders can offer better terms to keep the loan, that actually will create like high yielding bundles, things of that nature. I mean, but they have these programs sitting out there, but you will need a little money, a couple $1 million, but who knows? You may be paying and helping some folks buy into your student loan program on Wall Street, earning your yield or being able to trade that. And before you know, they'll be working for your company. I mean, that's the kind of thought process as a professional athlete, you should be having right now, of what I'm going to do to give back and make money to my school and to my community with this contract that I've been given. And I know Karen and this show will most importantly be on there to talk about further some of those options that they have.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say about with this student loan, what I'm getting from it is, it's like when you go to college, you got to be really ready to go to college. And I just remember when I went to college, it wasn't something that my family talked about. I decided probably in July that I was going to go to college. And so that first year was a year that I just had to figure out who I was, and not having to have my mama to be there to let me go. And so it was a year of just becoming an adult. Mm-hmm. And so with these student loans, I'm like, that year is gone. I mean, I let my daughter go off to college, and that year it was her year to play around and figure out who she was. But that costs money. And so right now, I see with our high school kids are graduating with an associate degree, which is going to cut down the time when they go off to college, which with this bill, this would work out better in their favor, because they only have 2 more years, and that's not going to be 4 years where their parents could be in debt for 60-some thousand. I mean, there's different sides to kind of look at this as far as playing out how people could strategize. I think kids now are going to have to be really serious about going to school. No time to play around because they're on the clock.
You're on the clock. And graduate too. At graduate school too. You're on the clock on graduate school as well. So, think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of this being a possibility of a business that can be created for a company to come up with a offer where that you can help people get financially fund their education. And then the other part of it is parents. I know when I first bought my house, that was the first thing that people, when they came to insure my house, is taking out a type of a loan, an annuity, or a life policy where some of that money was investing. And that was the first thing he said, you can take some of that money out to pay for your kids' college. Of course, it hadn't matured then, but it is a product out there that you can start to make invest and make money before you start having kids. And then by the time you do have kids, that policy would have matured and you could have some money that is set aside to pay for your kids' education. But these are the type of things that parents are going to have to start thinking about. We're putting that money into buying our kids most expensive shoes and things like that. We're going to have to take $10 of that and put it somewhere to start saving some money for when they go to college.
Yeah.
And that comes in educating the parents, though, because this bill is certainly targets our underserved communities, right? So we know where that is for the most part. Not always is, the expectation now is for different communities to make sure you go to college. Sometimes that's not always a conversation. So like you said, in July, you decided, I'm going to school in the fall. Okay, well, that was absolutely 2 months, no preparation. Well, back in the South, school starts in the end of August. So that's a whole month right there. Mm-hmm. So you are going on a wing and a prayer, just going and you are signing whatever they say. They will give you whatever. And nobody's reading the fine print. But it certainly is going to have to be some education for the parents to make sure that they know what the child is getting into. And when my son got ready to go to college, and I could say that from experience that, listen, you have one purpose. It is not a party, and it sure ain't no fraternity. You got one purpose. And the reason I could say that is because I did that. And, my dad was there, with his checkbook to say, okay, this is my last check I'm writing to, okay, thank you, whatever. But I needed him to understand, this is it for you. You got one time to show me what's going to happen. If not, you have 4 uncles and you can go to any of their homes. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, any of the Uncle Sam going to take you in one of the 4. So, and I stressed that to him. So he got there, did what he had to do because he realized that she's serious. And you're not going to live here with me. I'm not going to have a roommate. No, you're going to have, so you can't think about doing that. And these are things that I experienced. I'm like, no, it's got to be a better way for that. But preparation is key, right? That's the whole thing. Preparation being key for our community, especially in our culture, the other underserved communities, because these things that are coming out are intentionally tasked to our community. And whatever we can do to stop one of our community people from advancing, that's going to happen. And so writing these things, these are for and what people have to understand, read it. It is not for the other side of the world, other side of the coin. This is for you. This is not for and we tend to be lax. Who said it? Put it in a book, and if you don't want them to read it, put it in a book. And that's the whole thing about it. I don't know if that was Malcolm X or not, but that's the whole thing. If, like you were saying, these repayment plans, nobody's reading that if I don't continue this plan, if I miss 2 months, because I want to go to the Beyonce concert, so I'm not paying it. I'm going to buy me some however many $1,000 worth of tickets. So this is what you have going is absolutely amazing. I see in the background it says USA Preparedness.
Yes,
and that is it. The scripture tells us that the people will perish.
Yes.
For a lack of knowledge, and that is what's happening to our communities. And with having people like you rallying, champion things for us is amazing. And kudos to you. And I really appreciate what you have going on. Cameron was really excited, and I'm like, okay, who is Nathan? But I absolutely, tomorrow Nathan is going to be on the tip of my tongue to anybody that I engage with. Go look him up, find out what he has going on, because it's definitely something that you want to be a part of.
Yes. So thank you guys for watching the show. We want to do a quick little game. We're going to do some rapid fire option. Going to ask you a couple questions. Okay. It says, first word that you think of when you hear student loan.
Investment.
Oh, okay.
Investment.
The biggest money mistake students make.
Rushing.
Rushing.
Going too fast.
Rushing. Okay. One piece of financial advice you wish every young athlete knew.
Oh. I'm gonna say it because I gotta say it. Pay your tithes. I know it's not the most easy. I'm not saying go help them build a church. I didn't say that. I did not say that. I didn't say go help somebody get a Rolls Royce. But you'd be surprised how money changes people. And yes. you want somebody who's gonna know you, your soul, your character. I would tell them, pay your time. Find you a good spiritual leader. Find you somebody you can trust.
I love that.
So you don't change. Yeah, that's what I was. Yes. And make that your tithe. Make that your sacrifice. But first thing out the gate.
That is awesome advice. He only wants 10. He only wants 10. He could have said, give me the 90. You use the 10. Yeah. But the compassion there for us. And being a cheerful giver makes a difference.
It does.
And when you're not doing it begrudgingly, my mom says, a closed hand can't receive anything. So as long as you have an open hand and that you are giving, you can give it back. But I like that, what you said. So I like that piece of it. You want to share your fraternity information?
Of course. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
I was a Sigma Suite.
You got to throw that out there. Blue, you know what it is.
And that's why she had them student loan.
I gotta do a big shout out to that.
Okay. And of course.
Yes.
And Big Mama, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that. As much as I love being out there, but my mama said to me, she said, you got to turn in the rest for the best. And I'm getting married in December. To my college sweetheart, who we got back together, so I'm excited about that. So I'll just let you know, my advice to you, Mr. Tyreek, is sometimes you got to leave the rest for the best. That's right. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Yeah. So I just want to throw that out there. I thank y'all for putting me on the show. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Big Mama.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
So where are all these nuptials? In the city of New Orleans, or
no, we're gonna do it out here.
Country?
No, it's gonna be here in Alexandria.
Oh, okay.
Yep, in the DMV.
So you're in Alexandria, Louisiana?
Yeah. No, Alexandria, Virginia. I'm in the DMV
Virginia.
right now.
Oh, you're in Virginia. Oh, okay,
yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I sure am. So, ma'am.
All right, then. Thank you so much again, Mr. Dailey, for coming on. I really appreciate all the wisdom that you came to share with our parents. And hey, you guys, this is the place to be. We bring you resources. We drop dimes. You know, we drop the mic diamonds on you, nuggets or whatever it is called, on information that parents need to know. And parents need to know about student loans and how to prepare for their kids to go off to college. So go like and share this video, tag somebody, tell them about them sports mamas over there. They got something to say. And we will see y'all next week. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Let's go.